fresh air into his car as he rested his head on the headrest, patiently waiting for the traffic to move. As he was resting, Caesar was unaware that he was already falling asleep due to how long the traffic was taking him and the other drivers. Caesar took a nap, not knowing of the danger that is about to happen to him just a few seconds from now. While taking a nap, Caesar was disturbed by a strange force biting through his pants and skin. When the biting began to hurt him, he woke up and saw a black bear biting his leg and forcing itself inside his car. Caesar panicked as the bear growled at him and jumped at him inside his vehicle. The other drivers immediately saw what was happening and were shocked that a black bear was attacking someone inside a car. Meanwhile, Caesar kept screaming and crying out for help as the bear started to claw his face and bite his head. He fought back to try to push the bear away with his own strength. However, it was almost useless as the bear is strong, appears really hungry, and can see that his claw and scratch Caesar's face and head. The other drivers grew concerned about Caesar's situation, and one started honking their horn loudly to scare the bear away. When the bear was disturbed by the noise, stocked with enough provisions to last him for the weekend. After a hearty breakfast and checking his gear, he decided to take a small boat out to the lake and fish there. Paddling was a breeze, and everything seemed like it couldn't get any better. Hours went by, and as he was trout, was catch, he decided to head back to his lake. Closer inspection, he saw a tiny brown bear Surprisingly, this time, Pluto didn't bark at anyone or anything. Their walk in the woods went smoothly, and they made it back to the ranch without Pluto barking at whoever or whatever he saw in the woods before. With that, Aiden concluded that maybe the dog was barking at even small animals or just plain nothing. The next day, Aiden removed Pluto's leash again, since the dog wasn't barking at anyone or anything anymore. He went on to do some remaining work at the ranch. When he heard Pluto barking at something again, Aiden didn't hesitate this time, and now paid attention to what the dog was doing. When he arrived at Pluto's location, he was surprised to see a grizzly bear with two cubs behind it. Pluto was furiously barking at the bear as the giant animal was growling and prompting to attack the dog at any moment. Aiden grew worried as he immediately tried to grab Pluto to take him away, but instead got tackled down by the bear in a split second to the ground, which caused the dog to get scared and run away to the ranch. The bear got on top of Aiden's back as the boy covered his nape with his bare hands to protect it. The grizzly growled and clawed his back, making him scream loudly. Aiden tried his best to squirm in his place and get away from the bear's grip, but the grizzly was just too heavy, and he couldn't even budge. When the grizzly pulled away for a second, Aiden took this opportunity to use his strength to stand up and push the bear away before running to the ranch. Surprisingly, the bear decided to chase him, which terrified him even more. As soon as he reached the ranch, Aiden grabbed a shovel from the ground and smashed it into the bear's head. The bear flinched and tried to grab Aiden again, but the boy broke the shovel onto his head again, which caused the animal to run back into the woods. After the attack, Aiden decided to bring Pluto and drive himself a few miles from the ranch to the hospital to treat his badly wounded back. When his parents knew of this, they decided to hire a much bigger and stronger person to work at the ranch, while Aiden recovered from the bear attack that had happened to him there. Gemma is a famous YouTube personality known for her paranormal adventures and scary supernatural encounters. She goes to haunted, abandoned, or spooky places to discover whether supernatural beings are real and prove them with footage. For her newest scary adventure, she decides to feature the Appalachian Mountains in its never-ending saga of folklore and legends. Her recent goal was common: to find out whether Bigfoot is real. She arrived at the Appalachian Mountains with other explorers, Paxton and Gracie, who will accompany her for a 3-day trip to prove that Bigfoot exists. After hiking for hours, the three arrived at an abandoned cabin in the woods and decided they should stay there for the rest of their trip. It's also an excellent place to camp, since it's in the middle of the forest, and it's even more possible to spot a potential supernatural being in a spot like that. On the first day of their trip, Gemma, Paxton, and Gracie explored the woods in daylight while recording all their exploration on the footage. So far, there were no signs of any strange
Megafood is a movement, a mission, a 50-year history of combining fruits and vegetables with vitamins and minerals to create nutrient-rich, earth-friendly supplements.
supernatural beings. After hours and hours of exploring, they returned to their cabin at night and decided to end their video. The three have discussed whether they should go at night in hopes of finding more evidence or save all their plans for tomorrow. Gemma decided they should all get some rest, as they would be exploring tomorrow at both daylight and night for tomorrow's footage, to gather more evidence and explore the woods even further. After the discussion, the three of them drifted off to sleep. Paxton and Gracie immediately fell asleep, while Gemma was bothered by the sound of the cabin door creaking open. The cabin door is slightly faulty and opens even with a bit of wind blowing against it, and it makes a sound when it creaks open. That's why Gemma couldn't fall asleep, as the door was getting loud. Suddenly, heavy footsteps could be felt against the cabin's wooden floor. Paxton and Gracie were still asleep, while Gemma stood up to find out what it was. Since there's only an emergency light providing light in this cabin, Gemma had a hard time recognizing who or what this creature is. The footsteps became heavier, indicating that it was fast approaching. Gemma tiptoed to her bag to grab her camera to try and record everything. She believes that this creature is Bigfoot, given that its footsteps are heavy and is enormous. As Gemma was reporting on her camera, she found it hard to determine what type of creature it was, especially that it's black and was breathing heavily. Gemma wants the animal to show itself, so she thinks of a way to disturb it. Gemma shouts at the creature, waking up Paxton and Gracie. Gemma signaled the two that they shouldn't make any other movements, since there was a creature inside the cabin that she couldn't identify. The two remained seated on the floor as Gemma shouted at the beast again. The creature stopped walking for a moment, staring directly at Gemma in the dark. Gemma shouted again, but the beast charged at her and tackled her down to the wooden floor, inducing panic in Paxton and Gracie. As Gemma looked at the creature, it was not Bigfoot, but a giant black bear, unusually massive. Gemma screams at Paxton and Gracie that it's a black bear, which terrifies them. The bear started to claw Gemma's face, arms, torso, and lower body as she struggled to get out of its grip. Paxton and Gracie tried to throw their bags at the bear, but they got clawed and scratched by the aggressive animal. The black bear continued to attack Gemma, and Gemma fell. She was nowhere to be seen now. Paxton and Gracie began shouting at the bear, making other loud noises by stomping on the floor to scare the bear away. The bear growled loudly as it tried to bite Gemma's arm, causing her to struggle. Paxton tried to smash things on the bear's head, but always got scratched until Gracie grabs a flare gun from her bag. Without hesitation, Gracie fired the flare gun into the cabin's chimney, which made the bear flinch. She stomped on the floor to scare the bear even more until it decided to run. Gemma was left severely wounded and unconscious. Even though it was late at night, Paxton and Gracie decided to hurry back to their vehicle and take Gemma to the nearest hospital. Gemma survived the attack, but had to stay for a long time in the hospital to recover. She decided to close her channel on Instagram, as she will not be doing any videos until she's fully healed. Catherine's training competition. However, during this conflict, she had to hire real help to test her skills to help her father Lawson, a licensed archery hunter. Catherine and Lawson decided to head to a national forest in Montana to hunt for elk. Catherine is nervous about hunting elk, but her dad convinces her to do it as he will be helping her all along the way. As the two arrived at the national forest, they prepared their bows and arrows for hunting. Catherine was still nervous, but Lawson tried to cheer his daughter up to do well. Then, Catherine and Lawson walked into the forest as he teaches her about archery hunting and how to move brave and focus while targeting an object. Catherine listens to her father carefully, resolving to getting back to being nervous. First up, an elk passed by in front of them. Lawson sees this as an opportunity to show his skill to his daughter. He began aiming his bow, waiting for it to stay still before shooting with his head. The elk began to stay still for a few seconds, thinking it was an easy target for Lawson. He didn't waste time as he aimed his bow and quickly shot the arrow at the elk, which struck its neck. Catherine was amazed at her dad's skills. Lawson approached her and told her that she didn't have to hunt for real, aside from the fact that she wasn't licensed yet, but instead tested her skills by making a targets for her target. Catherine aimed a sight away. She started to aim her bow and let it focus. As Catherine was trying to shoot the arrow from the bow, a giant grizzly bear appeared from the woods and attempted to eat the elk carcass out from under her. Lawson screamed to scare the bear away, but instead it charged at Catherine and tackled her to the ground. Catherine was surprised and terrified at the same time as the bear started to claw her arms and legs. On the other hand, Lawson was also terrified as the bear aggressively attacked his daughter. He was screaming and crying in panic, as Catherine did too. Catherine's bow and arrow were also on the ground a few feet away as she tried to reach for an arrow to stab the bear. However, the bear kept putting its weight on her body as it attacked her with its claws, so Catherine couldn't take it and give up. Lawson finally regained his composure as he tried his best not to panic and aimed it.
Try Floristore, the #1 pharmacist recommended probiotic. Because when your gut is unbalanced,
His bow and arrow straight into the His hands were shaking due to the panic he's feeling, but this was the only way he knew to scare the bear away and save his daughter. He didn't waste any more time as he shot the arrow and struck the bear's eye with his hilt. Plus, he pulled out another arrow and shot it into the bear's heart. Lawson immediately picked the wounded Catherine up from the ground. As they rushed to their vehicle, they crashed. Catherine's bow and arrow used for the forest. Still, Travis got inside his car first and left the door open, just in case the traffic slowed down a bit. Dallas waited a long time, but the traffic was still the same. Eventually, he fell asleep sitting in his car seat for a while. A couple of minutes passed, and Dallas was still sleeping until he felt something close to his absolutely loved the big grizzly, so they did not notice the signs of anxiety in the heat of the moment. The end of the performance was accompanied by a standing ovation, and his trainer took him around the world to wish everyone goodbye. The woman preferred to remain anonymous as the last touch the victim, but her goodbye was cut short by the circus chair landing its clutches onto her arm and pulling her onto the stage. Screams and chaos erupted in the crowd as some people ran away from the city, while others looked on in horror. The new trainer immediately pulled out his chain and dropped it. This is a grizzly bear, missing a man, but not one inch. The victim screamed as the new gnawed on her arm, and the trainer took her clothes. It wasn't until a few minutes later, when a tranquilizer dart struck the victim in the neck, that the situation finally calmed down. He slumped over after a few seconds. The woman's arm was limp. By this time, the emergency services were dispatched to the circus. Although circus performances featuring animals can be pretty entertaining, this story reminds us that wild animals will always be rough. We can never trust them completely. Unfortunately, because of this outburst, Danu had to be put down, and the circus was banned from using animals in any performances. That year, Dan's trainer was marked for ignoring the bear's warning signs and irresponsible behavior. The minute the dude attacked her thigh, the physical abuse of her arm was in November of 2003, on the south coast of the United States, hobbyist hunter Philip Montano found himself in the most terrifying situation of his life. The forest of Kodiak Island was a sight of terror and brutality for the young hunter, who came face to face with a giant Kodiak bear. Beneath a big tree 7 feet away, Philip and some friends decided to head out into the wilderness of the Kodiak National Wildlife Refuge to see a deer. It was the peak of the hunting season, when the deer would be plentiful and relatively easy to hunt down. Phil's friends set up camp in a remote part of refuge isolated from population for miles. The group decided to start at 2 a.m. There were 6 of them, and Philip Reed parked his vehicle. Reed sat in front of a table inside the convenience store to eat. He could already feel tired, frustrated from all his driving, since he'd been driving for hours when he passed by Wyoming. While eating peacefully, Reed noticed a strange black figure standing beside his car from a distance. Thought he just saw things, so he didn't mind it at first. When he finished his food, he decided to leave.